Hey everybody, it's Jose Laya, and we hope you're doing well. We're here today to give you our market update for the Miami real estate market in 2024. We're going to look at closed sales and median price per square foot for single family homes and condos in some of the more popular neighborhoods in Miami, in areas that we know very well and that we've been doing business in for years. We're also going to compare them to how they did in 2023, just to give us some context. Once we go through those graphs, we're going to end with our market summary along with some important topics for 2025. So stick around. We have a lot to cover. Here we go. Okay, so here we have our first graph. It's for single family homes, and we're comparing 2024 to 2023, the number of closed sales and the median price per square foot for the same areas that we always cover, which are Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, Pinecrest and Miami Beach, specifically South Beach. Let's jump to that bottom row, which shows the percent change year over year. And across the board, we see green everywhere, which means prices and the number of sales increased year over year. There's one exception, which is Pinecrest, where it shows the number of sales decreased 12% year over year. Being in the markets daily, we can tell you that that has to do more with low levels of good inventory than anything else. If we look at all other areas, they're just holding on to slight gains, nothing really too dramatic or nothing really too high. But across the board, sales and pricing was up for single family homes in these areas. We're going to jump now to the graph for condos to see how the condo market fared. Here we go. Okay, so here's the graph for the condo market. We're covering south of 5th, downtown Miami, Brickell, and Coconut Grove. And if we jump to the bottom row, which shows the percent change year over year, clearly we see a lot more red than we saw in the single family homes. The number of sales in the condo market has gone down dramatically. Look at south of 5th, down 21%, downtown Miami, 18%, Brickell is almost down 30%. Year over year. We can attribute this drop in sales to the many headwinds in the condo market that we've been talking about for the last year, which unfortunately we feel will continue through 2025. Oddly enough, while the number of sales is down dramatically, pricing is actually holding steady and slightly increasing in some areas. We just need to see if pricing is going to hold for 2025. So sales are down dramatically, pricing holding steady. In the condo market, let's see what happens in 2025. That's it for the condo market. Let's jump into our market summary. Here we go. Okay, so in summary, we can clearly see that the market for single family homes performed well and is doing better than the condo market in 2024. We expect this to continue through 2025 as new rules and regulations are having a negative impact on the condo market, especially for older buildings, as we've discussed throughout the year in prior videos. So we need to watch this closely. As a matter of fact, as we look forward into 2025, we have a few key points that we want to highlight with you today that we're going to be watching closely throughout this year. Number one, condos in older buildings. If you're trying to sell your condo in an older building, you have to understand the market today. Right now, there's a lot of negative press about older buildings. And of course, it doesn't help if there's been a large special assessment, if maintenance fees have gone much higher, and even worse, if the building's currently under construction for repairs, just makes it that much more difficult to try to sell your condo right now in an older building. Understand that it's not only going to require time to sell, but more than likely it will have to be discounted enough to make it attractive to a buyer, which that buyer will more than likely have to be a cash buyer. So please understand, it will require some patience to get it sold, and more than likely at a price that will be less than what you expect, which is why we will stress the importance of working with a professional to help guide you through. We see this as a very challenging year for sellers in these buildings. The second point we want to highlight are mortgage rates. For most of 2024, mortgage rates were in a tight range between 6.5% and a little over 7%. It wasn't until late summer in August when rates actually started to go down and went below 6.5%, and it stayed there for a few weeks. We actually saw during that small window, we saw a lot of activity in the market pick up as obviously buyers got a lot more comfortable and rates went below 6.5%. The odd part about this is that when the Federal Reserve finally met at the end of September and they lowered rates for the first time in 2 years, they lowered rates by 50 basis points, and then they subsequently lowered rates in November and in December by a quarter point each. As the Federal Reserve was lowering interest rates, mortgage rates shot back up to over 6.5% and over 7%. While we're not here to go into the intricacies of the mortgage market, what we can tell you is that obviously when rates went below 6.5%, a lot of buyers felt more comfortable and they jumped into the market. And the lower they went, obviously the more people jumped in. From the research we've done, we feel that for 2025, it's going to look a lot like 2024, where mortgage rates are going to be hovering around 6.5 to maybe a little bit over 7%. And we may get some swings on both sides. We may get some swings, some downward momentum where rates will go below 6.5%, very close to 6. We don't see rates going below 6%, but we encourage buyers to watch out for these swings on the downside especially, and it may be the right time for you to jump in. On the flip side of that, we do feel we're going to see some swings going up obviously as well. We feel mortgage rates will touch 7% and go over 7% a little bit as well. So 2025 may look a lot like 2024 as far as mortgage rates are concerned. That's just what we feel that, from the research we've done, that's just what we feel is going to happen for 2025. The next topic we want to highlight is the insurance market. While we saw insurance premiums skyrocket from 2020 to 2023, in 2024, we actually started to see premiums stabilize and some slightly decrease, which was a great sign for us in the real estate market as it had started to take effect in sales for homes and condo buildings. Then, unfortunately, here in the state of Florida, we had 2 major hurricanes back to back, starting with Helene at the end of September, and then 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton. Both storms hitting the west coast of Florida, causing major damage and destruction to coastal communities. And now, more recently, we're watching these unprecedented fires in the state of California, specifically in Los Angeles County area, which just adds to the pressure that insurance companies are going through, where unfortunately you will have some insurance companies go out of business, while those that remain will more than likely not want to insure policies in either of these states, causing the ones that do remain to obviously start increasing rates again. This is something that we feel will happen in 2025, maybe not right away, but obviously as insurance renewals come due, we feel that rates will start increasing again for 2025. The next thing we want to talk about is prices. Let's start talking about 2024. We saw prices for the most part holding steady and slightly increasing compared to 2023. Let's keep in mind, as we've mentioned before, we are in a correction and we're still going through it. Some may see that as negative, but it's not. It's just a reality of cycles in the real estate market. This time around, though, we are correcting off of 2 record historic years where prices in some areas doubled and some even tripled in price. So coming off of those 2 historic years into a correction, we're still trying to see where things level off. We do want to point out that the days of pricing your property at whatever number you want are long over. We just wish more people would come to that realization. When you decide to sell your home, you have to really study the market and comparables and price your home accordingly. If you do, it should sell in under 30 days. If you do not price it correctly, it will sit on the market with hardly any activity and may not even sell. Here's a clue. If you list your home and you have not received an offer in 30 days, that's a strong indication that the price is too high. As we like to say, and we've learned over the years, the market will speak to you. You just have to be willing to listen. Of course, other factors such as condition and layout matter, but those could be overcome with a better price. We also want to point out that as you start to see a lot of price reductions in listings, you may think the market is going down. But if you dive deeper into the numbers, it's not that the market's going down. It's that they priced their property too high to begin with. And now they're just chasing the market. If you price your property too high and then decide to reduce, please study the market and reduce it to the correct price to get it sold. We keep seeing a lot of listings with small incremental reductions, which is not going to get it sold in this market. So we just wrapped up our point on pricing, which leads us to our next topic that we want to highlight for you, and that's demand. Demand for Miami real estate is still strong, but we have to point out it's not what it was during 2021 and 2022. As we go through this correction, you really have to study the market to see what is selling, what is not selling, and why. We just showed you in a couple of graphs that sales increased slightly from 2023 to 2024 for these areas, but that doesn't mean that homes are selling in days or weeks. You may see a home listed now for 3 to 4 months or maybe even longer before it sells. This is what a normal market looks like. We've also noticed that demand has slowed across the board. Even though in these popular areas, demand is still there, we have started to notice that the secondary markets and neighborhoods outside of these areas are starting to see less demand, which we've noticed is starting to impact pricing negatively in these areas. This is normal in a correction when demand retreats, but it's something we wanted to point out to you and we'll keep monitoring as the year goes on. Well, that's our market summary for the Miami real estate market in 2024, along with a few important points that we wanted to discuss and highlight for you to watch out for in 2025. I am Jose Laya. I was born and raised right here in Miami. And as I start my 19th year in the real estate market, I can proudly say that we truly enjoy making these videos to put the information in your hands. We enjoy providing value and helping as many people as possible. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.